So welcome back to the last part of the 1.1 linear internal for NCEA Level 1, my fellow physics and earth space scientists, which is the discussion and concluding part of your report. So in terms of concluding your experiment, basically it's one or two sentences. It's just all you have to do is link the result of your experiment with the aim of the experiment, and then identify the relationship between your two variables. So, for example, if you did a relationship between the resistance of a wire and, say, the length of a wire, then you're identifying that the relationship between the two variables is that the resistance is proportional to the length due to the fact you've got a straight line relationship. And the other thing your conclusion has to have is a comparison of the result with a known physical theory or equation. Okay, so that's going to be looking at your background knowledge and any equations that you may have discovered in your analysis of the topic that we have been doing your experiment about. And finally, in terms of the discussion, which is where you're getting your merits and your excellences, it really has to be in depth. These are the key points that you need to hit when you are discussing your experiment. Okay, so your discussion needs to discuss any limitations of your experiments, any problems that you encountered, say, for example, in the range, control variables, so how other variables may have affected your result and how you went about controlling those variables. Again, the problem difficulties that you had and how you overcame those problems. Any anomalies in your data and what caused potentially those anomalies. So if you're doing a pendulum experiment, somebody opened the door, so that's why maybe the time period is not quite as precise. How you've increased the accuracy of both your independent and dependent variable, for example, taking averages or actually using a calibrated balance to measure masses. And unexpected outcomes, what they were caused by and how they were mitigated. So again, it could be a discussion around averages, how you're kind of averaging out the random error associated with collecting results. In terms of your graph, what the line of best fit was, how that actually relates to the concept you're actually exploring, the gradient and what that actually represents, and also the intercept compared with the known formula that you have been given or you've researched and discovered. Why you chose the range for the independent variable. So, for example, if you are dropping a ball down a ramp, why a short ramp length causes problems with reaction time. So that's why you've chosen a longer ramp length to actually record over. And finally, the link between your results and the physics concept, that your background and aim are related to. So, for example, parachutes, if you're looking at terminal velocity, or potentially skateboarding, if you're doing velocity or acceleration down a ramp. Okay, so those are the key points that are required when you're discussing and concluding your 1.1 internal experiment and writing up your report.